Sun R E.
Have you ever thought that you needed to walk in your relationship, but you weren't sure? Maybe you just needed a reset. So today, Jeff and I are going to share with you some signs to stay or to reset. And with that, Jeff, I'm going to let you take it away.
Well, so today's episode is, what is your title?
When to make it last, when to start again, and how to make it last.
When to start again.
Yep. Well, I think we officially, are calling it the art of the reset, starting fresh without walking away. So we're going to talk about the art of the reset. How about that? Whether you're dating, long-term relationship, even short-term online marriage, etc.
Well, I think the key thing is not throw everything out. Like you always said, don't throw out the bath with the baby.
It's water. Throw out the baby with the bath water.
So here's the thing, it comes down to if you're having a relationship problem and you're starting to find yourself having a lot of arguments, a lot of disagreements, and then just, not very happy with being in each other's space. But you've been together for a while and you have a relationship. So what are you doing at that point? You have to look at it from a perspective of, is this over? Or is this just something that is causing us so much grief that we want it to be over? So there's a huge difference here. And let me explain that. If you're in a relationship and there was infidelity and the trust is absolutely broken, I can understand when you call it quits with that.
Sure.
But if you're in a situation that is just constantly disagreement, argument, fighting, and there is still the relationship, but it's just you're not getting along.
And let me clarify that, Jeff, because that is one of the points that I've noted here is if you are fighting a lot. But is it on surface level or is it over core values? Now, that's two key differentiators, because if you're fighting over core values, then I think you really need to have a come to Jesus meeting and really communicate and clarify, are you a mismatch on values?
Right.
But hopefully, and we've talked about this before on the, dating arena,
Right.
certainly before you're married, but that can change. We know long-term relationships, values can change. So if it's a core value, that's one thing. If it's just surface level, then, you and I talked about this pre-show yesterday, that sometimes if we're bickering all the time for little things, it's oftentimes something that we haven't resolved or we haven't brought to the table. And so we're nitpicking everything else.
So you're saying that there's something deeper than
something
what it's causing
deeper.
it.
And I think that's really where we need to pause, whether it's individually or collectively. We need to pause and really examine, because those little nitpicky things, that's rarely what the real issue is. Would you agree with that?
It definitely is part of that. Another thing I find is that when you start to get out of the relationship where it's us, we, those type of thoughts, where it becomes me, I, me, I find that's the problem with the situation is you start to go away and into a headspace that's just so solitude. And then what happens is you start to get, snippy. You start to get a little bit curt. And ultimately, you start to come across very short and disrespectful. And a lot of it is because you stop thinking about the other person. You stopped honoring your relationship because it somehow drove enough wedge, enough distance that you no longer feel connected. So now you're kind of being there as part of the habit. You're being there as part of convenience. And there's no more connection in the sense of the true deep connection. You're just connecting because you're everyday occurrence.
Right. And you don't want to be, if you're feeling, and again, this is a sign for maybe a reset, not a breakup, is you're just feeling disconnected. Maybe you're feeling more like roommates than, romantic couple. You feel there's an emotional fatigue, but you don't really know how to to get over it. those are things that, you can come to terms with when you get quiet with yourself, to go, let's examine this. I think we just need a reset, to get back to, and make a shift, because sometimes it's just a minor shift that can put you back to where you were. You're not laughing as much as you used to, but you want to be how you were before. Sometimes it's small changes that can make a big impact.
So are we talking about reset is that I'm moving out?
Well, I would say that was
I
bigger
mean,
than a reset.
how big is, what is a reset? Let's look at that. I mean, everybody's relationship depth and the long, so-called the duration of it is different.
Well, one of the things we point out here is energetic clutter versus true incompatibility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So energetic clutter, that's what I just described. That's emotional buildup. We talked about it in the last episode, where you're nitpicking, you're fighting about small things because you're really not addressing and having, the clarity to say, you know what, when you do this, I feel this way. Let's talk about it. Instead, you put it in your duffel bag behind you that you're carrying around, and you keep adding to it, and it keeps getting heavier and heavier and heavier because you're too afraid, or you're just not taking the time to discuss the real issue. Now, that's where you get a build up of unresolved resentment, right?
It can be, yes.
Carrying out unmet needs, mental overload, clouds that love, is still present. It is still present, but how long can it be present when you're dragging around this resentment, unresolved issues, etc.? We can't talk enough about, really in life, but particularly in relationships, that you can never over communicate. I really believe. Now you have to find your own communication style, and that's,
you mean yelling is not approved?
Not approved, and rarely needed.
Yeah. Just so folks, you understand that I say these things because some of the irrational thoughts actually do go in your heads. If I yell or talk louder, then maybe they'll hear me, which is no, this is the opposite. You're not in controlling of your emotions, right?
Absolutely.
And that's the key factor about communication, is how do you retain the integrity of self and be in control of your emotions?
Yes, having a governor on your emotions. And I'm going to, I'll be touching huge on it in my next book that's coming out, When the Mind Changes Its Mind. It starts with a thought, then it creates a feeling, and that feeling then can turn into action. Yeah. So it starts with the thought, and we have control. I think we're the only species on the planet that has that choice to control and to go, no, I choose to reframe my thinking. We tell our granddaughter, I have erase, replace, no negativity here. That's why our open theme song is accentuate the positive. You can always replace a negative with a positive. Yeah. So reframe your thinking. Yeah. Now, when it's, maybe not a reset, Jeff, would be, and we've talked about this, when it's a true incompatibility, when your values don't line up, or they've changed, or they're misaligned, greatly. Your future goals, your emotional safety, and these are things that, again, hopefully you clarified in the beginning of your relationship and re-clarified, because we all change, especially if we're in a relationship for a long time.
Right.
But, if one partner changes and the other one doesn't, because we're all growing, we're all changing every day, every moment. I think our bodies recreate our entire bodies within something like 6 months. We're completely different cells. I just read on a medical report. So, but we are, as human beings, navigating through this experience, we are changing. So if all of a sudden one or the other partner has a completely different shift value system that doesn't line up with yours, it may not be a reset.
Hmm.
It may be.
Well, let's talk about the top two things that I think that causes the most so-called divisions. Number one is financial. There seems to be a lot of disagreements and a lot of angst, a lot of pressure when there is financial situation that arrives in a relationship and being, let's say, just not making the ends meet, not being able
And,
to.
and beyond that, yes, Jeff, absolutely. And that's something we're not taught in school. Our parents probably didn't
No, not
teach
really,
us.
huh?
Back in our day, we're going to date ourselves. We barely learned how to balance a checkbook. Now, of course, you very rarely write checks. Everything's digital. But beyond the you don't make enough, we don't make enough, we don't have enough,
Right.
that
Right.
scarcity and lack mentality. Beyond that is how you were, mentally, subconsciously define money. And if you were raised, and I had to overcome this through the power of hypnosis and doing a lot of reading and a lot of other things that, that concept of lack. There's not enough money. There's never enough. Money doesn't grow on trees. All those old adages that go into your psyche and give you your thought process around money. And
That's right.
once I changed that, and I've shared this with you, Jeff, it was like money flowed when I stopped worrying about money.
Well, there's definitely a lot of truth to not constrict your own flow because of thought, intention, and so forth. But you have to be aligned. It's easy for us to just say, hey, change your thought, then everything will be better. No, there's a lot of components to the discipline of it. How are you executing your intentions every day when you wake up? Is it for the best of everyone? Is it the best for yourself? Because you can't offer a contributing factor at the highest level if you're not okay with yourself first. So always keep that in mind. The other thing that I know that in sense of financial is that there's just pressure because the way their lives or the way that their income is generated. And one of the factors that I've learned from you from the get-go is don't just count on one stream of income. You have to start thinking of multiple income streams with your talents, your ability, and your capability. Right now, we have artificial intelligence with ChatGPT and Grok and so forth. There is no reason for you not to be able to set up a website or do something online commercing or create a business plan or any of those things.
DIYs. And yeah, now we're talking about the rudimentary, beyond where I was talking more of the mental scope.
That's right.
But now the rudimentary, because many people may push back and go, yeah, we just don't have enough, or we don't, there's so many.
I work so hard. By the time I get home, I'm so tired and I got to make dinner. And then there's
with
kids
the economy and everything. But I truly believe, going back to this and not giving too much information because it's not important, but I was doing six figures in corporate America. And when Jeff and I married, he made considerably less than I did, but it wasn't an issue for me. So that was my thought process. Now I could have, I need someone who makes at least as much as me, or if not more, and yada, yada, yada. But I was mature, in age when we met. And I knew someone who made a peer is not going to be able to give me the attention that I required at this period and junction in my life. But what Jeff had that just touched my heart, and he still does, is a generous heart. Okay.
Well, can't eat that.
And I think in part it was because he was raised by his mom. Even though he didn't come permanently into his mom's life until he was 10, but his mom is a very generous, open, giving mother.
Yeah, that's true.
Always has been with him, and so he had a different paradigm of money and generosity because. Again, you can have someone who makes 6, 7 figures who's stingy.
Yeah.
Right?
No question.
And so I encourage you when you're, if you're looking for a relationship, to keep that in mind. Um, it's the attitude that someone has towards abundance. Because if they have an abundant, energetic field, that crosses over into everything.
Yeah.
And I knew that, and I valued that in you, and saw that
Sure.
in you.
Well, I think we both had the understanding in our consciousness that money is a tool. Money is not the be all end all dictator master.
And not that
it's not
through
that
the
at all.
years we didn't go through, like most couples do, like, oh my gosh, because I was in sales, high level sales, but sales for a good majority of my corporate America. And it was, what have you sold today? And
Yeah.
so I can remember being in angst, wondering, am I going to deliver? Am I going to make quota? Am I going to have my job? And when I realized and let go, and I remember this, I told you about this trip that I had a month I could take. I took a full straight month off when I worked in high tech, I guess you'd call it. At that time, it was high tech. Telecom. Yeah, was the high tech then.
Yeah.
And I went ahead with my plans. I was biking through Europe to 5 countries with a group of about 15 people, and my numbers hadn't come in. But the plans were made, and I was going forth with this once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Yeah.
But I knew I had laid the groundwork, and I released and surrendered that all would be well, and enjoyed my trip. And it was, sure enough, the seeds I had planted in that time frame when I came back, they just popped up like a spring flower and bloomed, and all was well. And I was, of course, above quota. It was never below, what was it, the 20% percentile. Just by letting go and trusting and knowing, and that coupled with other experiences and your influence as well, has given me such a peace of mind in terms of abundance and having an abundant mindset.
Mm-hmm. I always believe that if you're generous, then that is from your heart. And that generosity of giving is equivalent to receiving as well. So that's important.
It comes back to
I also learned about the aspect of money is that there's so many different ways to get money. So it isn't just one source of ways. And I understand where there's folks that tie their entire life and dedication and efforts and career into a specialty, and it's hard to walk away from it.
Yeah, okay, you reminded me of a point that I wanted to make on multiple revenue streams.
Yeah.
Don't laugh, guys, about this. I've been saving. I've been saving toilet paper rolls. The cardboard. Okay, we have a pretty robust house in the toilet paper division.
Those darn grandkids.
Most of them are in Idaho, honey. There's only one here anyway.
Okay.
We recently, probably a year ago, converted to bamboo.
Yeah, bamboo paper, recycle, not
sustainable,
no chemicals and no plastics.
And of course, bamboo sustains itself. It doesn't. Yeah. You don't have to cut down a bunch of trees. It grows so fast, etc. The benefit of this is that the cardboard rolls are also, I think, made out of bamboo and super, super sturdy.
Oh, yeah.
The regular ones, they kind of like that little corner will peel off.
Cardboards.
Right. They crush really easy.
Right.
So I got the bright idea. I had saved them years ago. Never did anything with them. Got rid of them because they smashed. And so I've probably got 200 of them right now. And my idea is to do an asymmetrical on a big piece of canvas, glue them staggered like bricks, and then spray it gold or black or rust or whatever for some modern, 3D abstract art, which I'm going to do. So, because AI is so brilliant, whatever I look at, it pushes. So I'm going into my Pinterest account, and it pushes me people selling on Etsy toilet paper rolls.
Yeah.
Now, what do you think they're selling them for?
25 cents.
No, about $1 each. No, about
That's crazy,
$1
isn't
each.
it?
So I'm looking at packs. In fact, you can get 10, 50. The 150 was sold out. $150.
That's
for
a lot
$150.
of visits.
So if you poop, even if you don't have the bamboo toilet paper roll, if you poop, and people who do poop, have them save their rolls. What an easy way, even if you're at home, you have physical disabilities, whatever, that's just one of many.
Okay.
And shoot us a line if you'd like to know more ways, because
What am I doing now?
I love fishing. Go fishing.
No, I'm reeling you back in from the
reel me back in.
DIY.
Okay, DIY. Well, you talked about revenue streams.
Well, yes, absolutely.
We got caught, on money. That is one. That's one reason.
Yeah.
For sure. But I'm going to point out a couple remedies that if you've defined that you need a reset, you're still compatible, life has just gotten in the way, maybe you've both gotten a little bit lazy, or just, not had your lens or your level of consciousness up there.
Yeah. Let me talk to you about it, about this being lazy thing.
Okay.
How do you think people get lazy in their relationship?
Well, I would say that. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hello.
Sorry, my phone.
Stop playing with your phone.
So, I would think people get lazy by taking each other for granted. First off,
and of course, I'm assuming that when you're in a relationship, nobody's doing this on intentional.
No, because life has a way of enveloping us, and there's more to do than we have time to do. But if you don't put it on your calendar, then it's not going to happen. Time management. You've heard me talk about that before.
Right.
It was actually in telecom that I got some of the most stellar time management training. And, if you say a relationship is important to you, which it should be one of the most important things to you, then what are you doing today?
Right.
What are you doing today to nourish, to be thankful for, to encourage, to keep that alive? I don't think we shared this before. So we're going to share a couple tidbit, things just to, get your juices warmed up on, oh yeah, I could do that, and I could do this, and I could do that. Simple things. We have a thankful jar, and it's set out on the jar, or set out on the counter. Next time I'll bring it with sticky notes, pens, and just randomly, whenever each, either of us thinks of something that we're thankful for in our life together, we put it in the jar.
That's right.
And we may do this more often than once a year. We've done this a couple of times in the last few years, and we kind of do it at like New Year's Day. We'll read them from the previous year.
That's right.
And it's amazing, some things. In fact, I'm kind of behind. I need to do probably 3 or 4 in the jar to go, oh, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, that was so wonderful. Oh, what a blessing that was. To really, and it comes back to that energy of being thankful, and not just taking for granted not only your partner, but the blessings that are all around you and that you're sharing with each other that sometimes you forget. So that's one simple thing. Of course, arranging a candlelit dinner, that's, a shared walk or talk. Now, I have a hard time getting him to take a walk with me because, well, we live in humid Texas.
I just don't like to walk around in circles. When I want to go out there and do exercise, I want to have a ball in my hand or something, That's just the nature of how I like to exercise.
Yeah, so he exercises with our Aussie Doodle in the dog park we made because they can play catch. So
it's really exercising me sitting in a chair.
I guess you're sitting, he's exercising, huffing and panting.
But let me ask something to your reset here real quick. The reset is almost ceremonial. It's a way to wipe that slate clean and basically add the communication clarity starting at a brand new starting point,
I
because
love
they
that.
somehow build up to this peak of angst
Yes.
and disagreements and ugliness.
And you
to-
both love each other and
Yeah.
care for each other so much. It's just life got in the way. What, kids,
Yeah.
sports, work,
But those
all
are
that stuff.
excuses, and we need to not use them as cop-outs to quit.
Absolutely. And
So
it
that's why
really-
reset's important.
It really comes back. I'm so glad you brought that up, Jeff, because my next point was that you can make a new verbal. Are you thinking of
No,
a new verbal agreement or commitment? So
absolutely.
let's say you
Yep,
have
reset.
that clean the slate.
Yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Sweetie, I didn't know you felt that way
Yeah.
about that. And I'm going to do better next time. And I commit to you, and make a simple agreement or a recommitment. It can be like mini reset vows, relationship vows, right?
Mhm.
I commit to you going forward, this day forward.
Yeah.
I'm, so in love with you, and I'm going to do this.
That's right.
And then the other.
You know what
partner
that's
would say,
all about?
I'm going to do that. No, I don't. Sex.
It's called restoking the love.
The love, restoking the.
I mean,
fire.
seriously,
Yeah,
it comes down to, you're not
Yeah.
going to quit on somebody that you've been in love and developing and building a life with. You're running into a brick wall because of situationals.
And I do want to include newer relationships too. If you've met,
Sure.
you read my book Miracles Online, and you met someone online, and you're a month or two in the relationship,
Yeah.
that's a different dynamic. But again, if you've got this foundation and this person has your values and lights you up and you light them up,
Yeah.
in a very short time, you don't want to just, throw the relationship
No, and
out,
that's the part that we want to do this episode, to talk about resetting opposed to quitting.
Yes.
Because a lot of times it isn't just keep on searching for the utopian theory of greatness of love that doesn't really exist. Because you know why it doesn't exist? It has to come from you. This is why I'm telling you, you have to be ready. You have to bring it every time from yourself.
And it takes doing a pause and self-reflection. It's
Mhm,
no
mhm.
different than me, telling my family member that, you can move from here to here, but you're taking yourself with you.
That's
And
right.
so until you've done the self-reflection and the self-refinement and really looking at yourself and see, where are you intolerant? Where are you not? You're going to have the same issues. You'll just be at a different address.
Yes.
And I was able recently to talk her off the cliff.
Well, and that's the I think the key factor that we all need to embrace. Number one is that it never is so desperate that you stop and quit. Unless, like I said, unless it's a situation like infidelity. If you can't be monogamous in a relationship, then don't be in a relationship with that being a requirement. Be very upfront about it. But now we recognize, okay, we have a good thing going. It just wasn't so good the last 6 months, the last 8 months, the last year and a half.
Need some rebooting.
Yeah.
Just like you turn your computer off and reboot and it's fresh again.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And don't be afraid to have that conversation, that open line communication. Hey, I'm not happy. I know you're not happy, but I'm not going to throw in the towel. I think we need to sit here and clear the air and reset and start over at beginning. Not saying that you forget everything that you've done up to that point, but you get to the point like Monopoly. You're going to pass go and you're going to go around the board again, except this time you're going to have a fresh outlook. You're going to be able to have tools because you have open communication. You're going to be able to not let the things that was cluttering your mess and causing the angst and the disagreements and the ill feelings, if you understood it, if you broke it open and discuss it. And the part is, if you don't find you can talk to your significant other, you're finding that this is going to be a big war, a big argument, and so forth. All the more reasons you need to have that conversation.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
Communication.
Yeah. So this is your takeaway.
Well,
Communication.
It's communication. And,
Yeah.
I had a a letter, but I can't seem to find it on my phone, Jeff. So I'm just going to leave you with this. A reset isn't giving up.
Mm,
It's reaching in.
yes.
It's clearing out the clutter. It's rising together
Amen.
with new awareness, with new intention, and the bottom line, renewed love.
Always. Always. And you'll be so surprised. It's like bringing fresh water to your flower bed. Just think of it like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I wish everybody with all my heart all the best to you and your relationships. Leave us a comment. Make sure you like and subscribe.
And share.
Of course, always share. And we have new Substack. Come subscribe to our Substack, which is Miracles Online, Jeff and Kat, or Kat and Jeff. I can't remember. Anyway, it's going to be in the description. We add some really cool contents that we don't have it anywhere else other than our Substack. And of course, the key factor of what we want you to do is spread love and be something incredible in your relationship.
Absolutely. And if you're single, divorced, widowed, or you know someone who is, pick up Miracles Online at YAYU publishing.com.
Right.
Or you can get it on my site, but that's katrillanos.com. Too difficult to spell. But
QR code.
QR code right
Ta-da!
here. Right here.
See, that's the best part about all this technology, isn't it?
And stay tuned because we're going to have some promotions coming up for the book, right?
We got a lot of exciting things. There's going to be a promotion for a book club that we're going to do. So if you haven't bought the book, make sure you look at the link what we have.
We're going to be doing some digital giveaways.
Yeah. And then on top of that, of course, is that we got also a new book coming out. You have a new book in developing. I all of a sudden got a new book in developing as well. So stay in tune for that. And of course, it will appear on YAYUpublishing.com, YAYU publishing.com. And YAYU means what? I love you.
I love you.
So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, Miracles Online. It's all about love, relationship, commitment, marriage, dating. And we hope that we enriched all that for you.
And type us a message. Let us know what you'd like to hear. We'd love to hear from you. And if you have a topic or an issue in regards to love, marriage, commitment, dating online, let us know. We'd love to hear from you.
And thank you for all the ones that has reached out.
Yes, thank you so much.
We greatly appreciate your support, and thank you very much.
Absolutely.
With that, adios. Until the next one.